Hello, Service Learning students. Dr. Everton here, just sending out a final sort of hello to everybody and a final sort of congratulations to those of you who've made it to the end of the course. Um, we have had a pretty good showing. As you're aware, there have been some students that have dropped out along the way. We started out with a pretty full class, but you, the 8 or 9 that are left standing at the end, I guess, at the end of the great race or whatever, you're the ones that can say you came through 8 weeks of pretty intense um, work uh, successfully, and I've been able to review the submissions. Everybody has been able to submit their final projects successfully. I've gone through and looked at the Turnitin reports, and the reports look pretty good. I haven't graded them fully yet. I haven't had a chance to look at them in significant detail, but first glance they look pretty good. They look like they've been formatted roughly correctly. Most of the reports are between 12 and 15 pages long, which, given the amount of material you need to sort of combine together in that report, looks about right for most of you. And some of you have been working with me the last week or so, sending me copies and other things to take a look at and asking specific questions. And I just think that the reports in many cases look good. They look they are as nice a representation of the goals of this course as some of the student sample documents that I posted from last summer. So 2 summers now we've done this course. It's a lot of work, but I think we've had some successful projects in the meantime. I wanted to talk a little bit about where we're at the end of the course here, where we have our assignments coming in, and I did want to just stress that we have had successful submission from the people who are actively trying to finish the course here at the end. If there are issues, you have heard from me already by email. So I'm assuming people viewing this are just those who are interested in how things will proceed now that we're at the end of the course. And so we've had good submissions with the final projects, the final reports, and we've had some excellent posts in the final presentation forum. And the only remaining thing beyond that is the Friday forum, and we've had some really nice, thoughtful responses to the end of the wrapping up the reading of the Book of Unknown Americans. Kind of an emotional, challenging, difficult sort of read to get through there at the end with the events as they sort of unfolded, and I hope that they provide that book and that experience of doing the Friday forum provided some supplement to the service work and the writing and the other elements that you were doing that's kind of more related to a humanistic tradition or thinking of our place in this universe and our place in relation to our fellow human beings. And so that was the goal there. And I just wanted to wrap up by talking a little bit about where we're at the end of the course as far as back to where we began with our syllabus. And you'll notice that the course description goes through the basic structure of the courses you've gone through, the preparation, the building, the connecting, and now the reflecting at the end of these service projects. Having looked at the presentations, I hope that you have a sense of how diverse and how interesting and inspirational so many of the projects from your classmates have been, from working with people struggling with addictions to helping pets to helping little kiddos in the preschool setting and in a daycare setting, to reaching out to sort of support the arts in the community, to doing help with medical support. All these are really just excellent project ideas, and it was nice to see them be developed and come from a proposal phase to more of a completion phase, and then to have this reflection at the end to see where we're at. Let's look at the outcome here for first year inquiry. First year inquiry, student learning outcomes. Students will describe and practice skills involved in critical inquiry and creative problem solving through interdisciplinary, collaborative engagement of a specific issue or theme. So our specific issue or theme, let's click that off the checklist there, service. And the broader themes that go with kind of what we saw in that reading of A Path Appears, of just dealing with the social issues, the challenges that confront society on a day-to-day basis. So that itself has this kind of interdisciplinary element to it. We've done a lot of reading, we've done a lot of writing, we've done actual service, we've been asked to apply all of our skills in our classes across our disciplines into our projects. You were encouraged to collaborate, and we had some online activities where we, through forums, interacted with each other. And the biggest thing, the most important thing, is this inquiry-guided learning. And hopefully, by being asked to take on an issue of your choosing in your community and thinking about where your skills are and where you can apply those creatively, and as reflected in your final reports, and more importantly, as I hope you all have been able to see in your final presentations, everybody who did these projects confronted problems at various places. And I've said this repeatedly, problems are good because they give you something to it's an obstacle or a challenge that you have to overcome, and that's what a class like this is trying to sort of incubate or support. And also a class like this is trying to have you think reflectively about how you respond to those moments where you have obstacles and you have to do some creative problem solving. And so I think definitely reflected in your service logs and in most of your presentations and final reports, frustrations that you had, difficulties that you encountered, and then how you overcame them, and in some cases how you were unable to overcome those problems. And then to write about those is a key element. So I really appreciate that aspect of what we did in the course. Hopefully that sort of sense of adaptability and flexibility and critical problem solving, creative problem solving, is something that we take away from this course, coupled with some of the content where we've tried to think through problems and explore these larger issues. That's what FYI is all about. And I want to stress this at the end because I know it's worrisome to students. You're worried about your grades here at the end of the course, and I just want to say that it's a 100-level course, first year inquiry. We're not expecting miracles here, and as long as you have been following the procedure throughout the course, students who land at the end with their final reports and projects and presentations generally are doing fairly well, and you shouldn't have a whole lot of concerns about your grades. Maybe you have a goal of the sort of grade that you really want to achieve in this course, and we'll see how it bears out at the end with some of the intangibles, like how effectively you're able to channel your experiences into a written document that has to be sort of judged by the standards of college level writing, how well you've been able to follow instructions. But I just want to stress that the main thing is the doing of this, the practice of critical and creative problem solving, the practice of creative inquiry and inquiry-guided learning. Those are the keys. If you didn't have a tremendously successful project, if you didn't achieve all your goals, that's fine. I pushed you and pressed you throughout the semester to try and work on higher level elements in these activities, so that you're not only just doing the service, but that you're learning something in the process. The very beginning of the course, we spent a lot of time in the notebook and elsewhere talking about what the difference is between service and service learning. And hopefully here at the end you have learned some things, and I think these are reflected a little bit in the final presentations. The final presentation is kind of a case study for this, because I have to tell you, I learn every time I teach a course like this. I make mistakes, and I try to prepare and respond to that so that the next time I teach the course, we don't have the same problems. And so there were some things that we did last summer that we had some issues with that I tried to integrate and adopt in the course this semester. The final presentations to the class, for example, if you look at the full description, I don't know that I was anticipating that every student would submit just a PowerPoint file, and then I guess we're supposed to open all the files and sort of go through them. The intention was that everybody would post a kind of a presentation in the forum itself, and that's what the students did last summer. But this summer, for whatever reason, everybody submitted these PowerPoint files, and for the most part, they're very interesting, and they're good, and they sort of in general sort of walk us through these projects in sort of a presentation type way. But what I intended was maybe more of a sort of a written response that you have at the end that is sort of supported or supplemented with some additional images, photographs, PowerPoints, links to web pages. That's part of what the language was that's in here about multimedia and visual guidelines. But I want to tell everybody that I will review the PowerPoints, and since pretty much everybody took this approach, that's the sort of way we'll judge the final presentations. Basically how well the PowerPoints are structured and how well they achieve the goals of the assignment. But that's an example of where you have to be prepared to sort of you plan on one thing and then another thing happens, and we just adapt and we overcome that, and we deal with it as it is. And I think in the end we still achieved the main goal in that presentation, and that was to share this work. And I hope that you are proud of your work here at the end of the course. A lot of effort went into this. I hope that you keep these reports. I hope that you share your sense of service with other people. I hope that you talk to others about how in your FYI course you did something significant. You did something that had to be independently driven. It had to be something that related to a real problem in the community around you, and you gave back. You had to actually do work. You had to get outside your comfort zone. Not everybody is doing this in the FYIs, and I know that you'll run into some students who have maybe had an easier track in this regard, but I think there's a lot of virtue, especially in the first year of college, to having some sort of experience like this that's uncomfortable, that, as we say in our department, gets you outside of yourself. And I know it's a pain, and I know it's not fun, but I'm so pleased that you stuck with it to the end here, and you've done such a nice job of putting your presentations together. I hope you'll continue to do service in your communities, and good luck with the rest of your courses at Chadron State College. Enjoy the rest of your summer, whatever remains of it. I do want to let you know that our final grades are due on Tuesday at noon. I'm going to try and finalize as much grading as possible this weekend, Saturday evening. I'll try and have grades posted as much as possible by the end of Sunday, because on Monday I am traveling and I have some other events that are going to make it kind of hard to work on the course. So in the meantime, email me if you have questions. I will get back to you as soon as I'm near internet and respond to you as fully as possible. Otherwise, again, thanks for a great summer. It's been a quick 8 weeks, a lot of work, and I'm just really proud of everybody for sticking with it and coming up with some really interesting projects. So I appreciate your efforts very much. Have a good rest of your summer.